Hello everyone, it's Christopher Taylor with Sovereign Harmony here on Sunday morning, March 23rd, I guess it is at this point. It seemed like January went by really slow, and then all of a sudden, February, March, like a rocket. Kind of foggy out here this morning, as you can see. Just wanted to check in like I do every Sunday for the last several months. Lots of stuff going on, so we're in the thick of it astrologically for sure. We just had the equinox on Thursday, followed by the inferior conjunction of Venus and the Sun. So it's the Venus star point, as it's called. So that's the halfway point of the Venus retrograde. That happened in early Aries just yesterday, actually. And that's still kind of with us here as it forms a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. And so, like I mentioned last week, this is like a personal reinvention, reinventing our image in a way, and how we present ourselves, how we want to move ourselves forward. And interestingly enough, tomorrow on Monday, we have the inferior conjunction of Mercury with the Sun in early Aries, pretty similar degree, a couple degrees off. So less than 48 hours apart, we've got the inferior conjunction of Venus with the Sun, and then the inferior conjunction of Mercury with the Sun. Very odd. I've been doing astrology for a while. I've never seen those two retrograde together over the very same degrees for the most part, and make their inferior conjunctions, less than 48 hours apart. So, and again, this is spanning. Those retrogrades are spanning the early degrees of Aries, late degrees of Pisces. So this is all about the end of the zodiac, beginning of the zodiac, wiping that slate clean for a brand new beginning. Yeah, I sound like a broken record, so I keep saying that every week, but that's exactly what is going on right now. So that will happen tomorrow, inferior conjunction. And then that Mercury in Aries will also sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So not only are we reinventing ourselves, we're also transforming our thinking, transforming our perceptions of ourselves going forward into the future. So we're really just like, again, cleaning that slate of the old you, old us, and really giving a chance for a new us to come in, essentially. Okay, that will be followed by a square from Mars in Cancer to Chiron in Aries. So Aries keeps coming up, right? Aries is all over the place, and it makes sense that at the end of the week we have the final eclipse in the Aries Libra series. So we'll have a solar eclipse at about 9 degrees Aries. That finishes up the last year and a half of eclipses in the Aries Libra signs. Okay, and so a lot of this energy that we've been going through has a lot to do with releasing codependency, coming into our own, having confidence in our own independence and our own capacity to do things our way. Okay, and this Mars Chiron square, okay, that actually started in October. So this is the final pass of that square from Mars in Cancer to Chiron in Aries. So it's a very angsty energy. And the reason is because we're just in this energy of being reminded of the past in ways that we felt incapable on our own, in ways that we felt dependent, okay? And so it brings up this angstiness where we want to establish our independence, say, no, I can do this my way. This is how it's done. I don't need help. Okay, not that help is bad, but the idea being that we're coming into our sovereignty, coming into our capacity to, just directly connect to the all and operate fully in full capacity. Okay, that's really the lesson here. And with that eclipse at the end of the week on Saturday, it's not really making too many aspects to anything. So it's at about 9 degrees Aries. You have to really widen the orbs to like really pull anything in there. But the ruler of Aries is Mars. And so there's that Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. That Mars is also going to make aspects to Uranus in Taurus, as well as Saturn in Pisces, okay? And what's interesting is just in the last day or so, Saturn and Uranus have come into 1 degree orb of a sextile. So they're 60 degrees apart. And this sextile is going to linger on and off until January of next year. Okay? And Saturn and Uranus, when they're working together in harmony like that, there's an opportunity to really work with some structured change. Because Uranus wants change no matter what. Saturn says, no, we can do the change, but there's order to the madness, right? And so that's really an opportunity energy here for the next 10 months or so. And it's interesting that it kind of coincides with the whole Saturn, Neptune crossing over the Aries point and finishing up that job in February of next year. So within a few weeks of this Saturn-Uranus sextile ending, that's when the Neptune-Saturn conjunction finishes on that 0 degrees Aries point in February. So we're in more of a long-term energy stretch here. Okay, so it's not just like a one-off kind of thing, but we are finishing up that chapter with this eclipse in Aries of, coming into our own confidence in ourselves, okay, releasing the codependency. So we're ready to move beyond that, okay? And what's interesting enough after that is on Sunday, March 30th, so a week from today, Neptune will enter Aries for the first time in our lifetimes. Okay, it hasn't happened since the mid-19th century, okay? So this is pretty big. Neptune's been in Pisces since it entered first in 2011, then it dipped back into Aquarius for a while, and then in February of 2012, Neptune entered Pisces, where it has been literally since, okay? So next week will be the first time since February 2012 that Neptune won't be in Pisces. So what's happened in your life since 2012? I'm sure plenty of things have. But Neptune in Pisces has been kind of a period of mass awakening, spiritual awakening. And a lot of that is due to the response to being deceived. So a lot has happened since 2012 when it comes to like trust in the media, trust in any kind of leadership, essentially. And this real sense of kind of disillusionment, but also that's what's bringing us into ourselves, bringing us more into our sovereignty in response to that, okay? And that in itself is a spiritual awakening. We're awakening to the fact that, hey, we put way too much stock outside of us to define our reality, to define, the narrative of life, essentially. Because that narrative has been controlled quite a bit, and people are waking up to that. And so a big part of that Neptune entering Aries is coming into more of a sense of anchoring in our whole being, like into this body, into this experience, and kind of taking responsibility for that. And that's where Saturn's going to come in when Saturn enters Aries, is about that self-responsibility, okay? So no longer putting it outside of us to tell us what is and what isn't, who we're supposed to like, who we're not supposed to like, as far as leaders go and stuff like that. There's going to be a real sense of sovereign knowingness and trusting ourselves. And so we can think of this Mars-Chiron square that I mentioned earlier. Chiron has been in Aries since 2018, so it's really been testing us, kind of like poking at the wounds of self-doubt and a sense of not being capable of doing things right and on our own. And we're ready now. We've done the work, so we're ready to kind of take that on. Okay, we have more confidence in that. So it's a busy week. I'll give you that. And then also I didn't even mention that both Mercury and Venus at the end of the week are going to, when they back into Pisces, they're going to hit Neptune at the 29th degree of Pisces just before Neptune enters Aries, okay? And so that's just part of the overall retrograde cycle. Again, it just signifies we're at the end of the road with something. We're wiping that slate clean. We're ready for something pretty new, okay? So thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great rest of your Sunday and rest of your week. Feel free to ask me any questions. If you're interested in your own personal reading in association with these energies, please let me know. And we'll see you next time.